We are still in a strong seller's market, but there's some crazy stuff happening. Crazy. Interest rates are back in the 6s, and there's more to come. So get out your pad and your pencils. What's up, guys? Jono here with the Selling North Dallas real estate team. Kind of excited for this one. My partner Holly is on vacation this week.
Vacation?
So it's just me. You just got me. The theme of today, data, not drama. So if you already have your mind made up that now is a terrible time to sell or a terrible time to buy, this is not the video for you. But if you truly are interested to know what the data says, stick around. So there's a couple of things I want to show you. This is an article from the D magazine. The thing that I want to jump into right now, the headline is "The Housing Boom That Won't Go Bust." So you kind of already get a sense of where they're going with this thing. It's been a decade now. Ever since 2012, one housing market has followed another. The start of this year, the hotness went from habanero to ghost pepper level. So if you were paying attention on the channel at the beginning of this year, or if you've been actively involved in real estate here in North Dallas, you know it was bananas.
Bananas?
I haven't heard it quite put that way, but it was hot.
Hot.
And it has cooled off. I think anyone paying attention right now can see that. But let's continue on, shall we? In the entire Dallas areas, prices were up 22% this spring over the same time in 2021. In Collin County, which is the focus of our channel, North Dallas, Collin County, prices surged even higher, increasing 32.7% from April 2021. The median price for a home there now is an eye-popping $550,000. But you can put your eyes back in your head. They say it's all over now for surging prices. That's because the Federal Reserve is throwing cold water on the hot housing market. Well, the Fed did it again. Again. Interest rates are up over 6% again. In fact, 30-year fixed conventional rate is at 6.23% right now, with the 30-year FHA at 5.5%. So it was 5.5 last week, but more on that in just a minute. But you can put your eyes back in your head. They say it's all over now for surging prices. That's because the Federal Reserve is throwing cold water on the hot housing market. It has signaled steady increases for much of the year in its Fed funds rate, which in turn is making borrowing more expensive for home buyers. All right, no surprise there. For instance, last spring, that $550,000 Collin County home would have cost $1,846 per month. Now that's just principal and interest. $1,846 per month if purchased with a prevailing rate of 2.9% on a 30-year fixed interest loan with 20% down. With the same terms today, with rates at something like 5.275%, which I just told you they're over 6. Well, time out for a second.
Time out what?
That is why it is so important that we do these market updates. Things change so quickly, and as Holly says every week, micro data. The market can change so much, even in a 7-day period. You really need to stay tuned in. So I think that's a perfect time to say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you really should do that. We upload content 3 times a week. Back to the article. Those monthly payments would be at $2,464, and they go on to say that's an additional $222,000 over the life of the loan, assuming you never refinanced and you fully amped out the mortgage. Well, that number has gone up because interest rates have gone up. One of the things that I talk about when I'm onboarding new clients, I tell them there's a simple 3-step process. Number 1, pick your agent. Identify who your counsel is going to be, and then allow that counsel to walk you through the process. Step 2, pick your lender. And then step 3 is start looking at homes. And in my opinion, it's got to happen in that order. If you'll follow that order, that is the shortcut to avoiding pain and disappointment.
I'm avoiding you.
If you don't trust your agent, then why are you hiring them?
You're fired.
Okay, let's just start there. But pick your agent first. Secondly, pick your lender. In the same vein, your lending partner will help you navigate things like interest rates and your cash position. How much are you putting down? What does a rate lock look like? I have lenders that can lock your rate in for 365 days. So a rate lock for a year, there's a lot of nuance that goes into that. Spoke with a first-time home buyer yesterday, and he's wanting to take advantage of some 100% down payment assistance programs. There's a lot that goes into that. So getting your counsel lined up before you start looking at houses will help you with disciplining your disappointments. The people that are freaking out right now,
I'm freaking out.
a lot of that could have been avoided if they just followed that simple 3-step process. Pick your agent, then pick your lender, and then finally start looking at houses. And it's got to happen in that order. Well, Jono, I really want to buy my dream home with this next purchase. Listen, I'm all for that. I want you to have your dream home. But if you getting your dream home is getting in the way of you getting in the game, and you've got all these extra bells and whistles hanging off of it, I'm telling you, man, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Don't shoot yourself in the foot like this.
The mentality that I deserve to get my dream home is messing you up. So if you're saying that to yourself in brotherly Christian love with all the heart with all the love in my heart,
Bless his heart.
stop it. Stop it. You are hurting yourself by saying you deserve X. All right, so that's a lot. Too much, they say. It'll drive people out of the market. It'll chill prices. It'll end the boom all over the country. Except it won't. I love this. Except it won't.
Not even close.
Or at least it won't here. This is Dallas, Texas, baby. This is Texas. Things just work a little bit differently here. And that's probably the reason you're watching the channel. Hopefully that's one of the reasons. The expectations have been that 2 hammers will fall, says Jim Gaines, a research economist at the Texas A&M Real Estate Research Center. You'd have the hammer of higher interest rates and the other hammer of a lack of available housing for sale.
Stop. Hammer time.
Both hit and slow down the rate of sales, and the pace of sales increases in Dallas-Fort Worth, but so far that has not happened. Indeed, it hasn't. That's why local real estate agents are saying something different than what they have been saying, the marketplace, the media.
Of course, power of social media.
Agents I spoke to both on and off the record told me, sure, increasing mortgage rates may change how some home buyers approach the market and might even lead a small number of potential buyers to drop out altogether. And we have seen that. But the agents still see no end in sight to sales appreciation in Dallas. There are 2 main reasons for that, both of which are simple economic concepts with a lot of complexity behind them when it comes to home prices. They are supply and demand. If you've been watching this channel at all, you've heard me say this: supply and demand. That's what's driving these factors. And the reality is, people want to be here.
I want to be here.
People want to be in North Dallas, and they are moving here in droves from California and New York and New Jersey. Spoke with a couple yesterday that's coming from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. People want to be in Dallas. They're going to keep coming because of all the wonderful reasons that we've talked about on this channel that are so great about living and working in Dallas, Texas. Now, for the local folks that are tuned into this channel, well, that may cool your jets, and that's okay.
Woman, cool your jets.
That's okay. But if you're renting right now and you're saying, I'm going to hold off because of what interest rates are doing or what the market is doing, or I'm going to wait on a ton of foreclosures, you are going to miss out.
I missed it.
Let's jump over into the Selling North Dallas Real Estate Market Update tool, which says we're now at 54 on market action. It's been steadily creeping down. Last month we were here, and today we are here, 54. And we are still in a strong seller's market. Median list price continued to drop, although median price of new listings, look at this, from August 12th, 525, August 19th, 525, August 26th, 535. It's starting to creep up.
Slowly but surely climbing.
Price per foot sliding down, although $223.99 in July, August 5th, $222.76, starting to flatten out. So not a lot of change there. Average days on market is slowly creeping up, 41 days. I had a guy ask me this the other day, why has this house been on, it's been on the market for 62 days. There must be something wrong with it.
What's wrong? Is there something wrong?
There may not be anything wrong with the house, but there's definitely something wrong in one of two areas. Either the mindset of the sellers,
I'm not crazy.
or the mindset of their agent that's advising the sellers.
I'm not crazy, she's crazy.
The reality is there are a lot of weak agents
You are weak.
in the market. Now let me explain what I mean by that. There are so many agents right now that are not doing any business. They're terrified of having to go back into the job market to get a real job.
You even have a real job.
They are cowing to the demands of their clients. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said we have a simple 3-step process? What was step 1? Pick your agent. If you're not going to trust your counsel, why are they your counsel?
My beloved counsel.
If you went to the doctor because you had something wrong with your chest, we'll say, something didn't quite feel right, so you go to the doctor
Something doesn't feel right.
and the doctor is not able to speak strength to you, you're probably not going to trust that doctor. You're probably going to go someplace else.
I'm out of here.
Or if they just whip out their pad and say, let me write you a prescription for that. There's no discovery. There's no diagnostic. They just write you a prescription. You would probably balk at that.
It's very strange.
But when it comes to real estate, what do? We call the guy that we know. We call our brother-in-law. We say, hey, Bill, we want to sell our house. Can you come over? So Bill comes over and they say, we want $1 million for this house.
$100 billion.
Will you list it for us? And Bill needs a sale.
I need it.
If Bill is intelligent or he's looking at the data, Bill knows this house is probably not going to sell for $1 million, but Bill is scared to tell his client that. He would rather roll the dice and see what happens, and maybe we'll get lucky.
Yahtzee!
Maybe one of these rich California guys will come out here and overpay for this house. Well, maybe a meteor will fall from the heavens and crash through my roof and hit me in the forehead. That is a low percentage shot.
No chance.
There is a low probability that that's going to happen, but because of weak agents, they don't properly advise their client. They're not showing them, look, this is what the market is doing. I want you to sell this house for $1 million, but it's probably not going to happen. Let's put together a strategy that's appropriate for where you are, where your mindset is, where you're headed next, and where the market is, how the market is behaving, and let's follow a winning strategy. But things are constantly evolving in this market, and if agents would just look at the data, it's data, not drama. If they would look at the data tells us how we are to respond.
It's simple to work the numbers.
How we are to conduct ourselves is probably a better way of saying that. Okay, let's keep going. Price decreases. They're starting to flatten out, right? Now, why is that? Are sellers just realizing, hey, I'm not going to sell this $800,000 house for $1 million. We missed that, at least in this snapshot in time.
Dang it.
Or agents are realizing, hey, I've got to advise these guys properly. There's a lot of factors that go into that. So here's another interesting stat. We've talked a lot about market rents. Median rent back in May 20th of 2022 is $2,500. And it's been creeping up. You can see the numbers. And then we got to $2,695 and we stalled out. $2,695, August 5th. And now it's starting to come back down. August 19th, $2,605. And then today, $2,655. Things are starting to stabilize on that front. There's so much that goes into buying a home. It is not rocket science.
Not rocket science.
But there are many moving parts. And if you're saying, well, the feds are raising rates, so now it's a bad time to buy, that's simply not true. That it's a bad time to buy. There are so many other factors that need to be explored, including your cash position, your credit, what your opportunity is, the types of homes that you're interested in, the areas that you're interested in, and why you're making the change. Selling a house is a pain in the butt.
Say that again.
Right? Why would you put yourself through that just because you're bored? If you're bored, let's just go to dinner. Let's get some margaritas. Run down here to Salsa's. We'll have a grand old time. You will not be bored. But that's not why you're moving. There are some emotionally tied reasons why you're making this transition. So let's study that and figure out what makes the most sense. Hopefully that's helpful. If you want to know how to get a hold of us, drop down in the description. There's a link to a Google form. Give us some details on where you're at. It'll take you less than 30 seconds. And then let's hop on a phone call and let's talk through what's important to you guys. If you appreciate this content, please consider giving us a like. Until next time.
Bye, Felicia.